We say hi to Jason Statham.
You want a donut? We got donuts.
Oh my God.
Yeah? No, I'm all right.
You don't eat donuts, right? He's not a donut guy. You can tell.
No, you can tell.
Jason Statham's not a donut guy.
Gotta be in shape.
They're all right.
They're all right.
Gotta be in shape.
Oh. And that's Rob Bartlett, a very funny man to your left.
All right, man.
Just so you know, everyone in the room there, Jason.
Jason's all over my fucking my on demand.
Oh yeah.
What was that, Parker?
Yeah, Parker, yeah.
Parker, yeah.
That was the last time I saw you.
No good?
Yeah, no, I like it, man. Your fucking movies are great. Come on. Action-packed. Fucking fun.
You know what you're getting with the Jason Statham movie, man.
I love that, man.
Fuck.
Great. What do you got coming out now?
It's a film called Redemption.
Redemption.
Yeah, it was called Hummingbird in the UK, but they renamed it.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah,
Good
they renamed
thing.
it because they thought Hummingbird was a little bit twee.
Yeah.
What was the motive for Hummingbird? Like, what does it mean? The significance of it?
Hummingbird is a generic term for a military drone. That basically the story's about an ex-soldier that is basically one of these drones pays witness to something bad that he does, and basically his conscience gets the better of him and he can't live with himself, and he takes to the streets and starts living as a homeless person. So the Hummingbird is is quite an appropriate sort of title for the film, but
but the redemption part kind
redemption
of makes more sense. Yeah.
Well,
It's a little easier. It's a little easier to put on people. They'll be like, all right, it's redemption. Hummingbird. They're like, what?
Yeah, it's hard to get a bunch of guys to go see Hummingbird if they don't know what it's about.
Yeah, I want to go. Let's go see Hummingbird.
This sounds good.
money back.
So it's an action film.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the good thing about it. It's not driven by the action. It's written by a very, very smart writer that's written a couple of great films. Eastern Promises. I don't know if you saw.
Oh yeah,
that was
that
great.
was good.
So he's
fucking brutal, that movie.
Yeah. So there was a movie before that called Dirty Pretty Things, and these are tales around the city of London, which are thrillers based in London. This is the third part of an unrelated story, but by Stephen Knight, who was the writer. This is his first attempt as a director, and he's brilliant. He really nailed it.
First attempt.
Yeah.
So do you look at that and be like, are you like, oh boy, hope he knows what he's doing?
Of course you do. Yeah. Yeah. No, but you know pretty quickly if someone knows what they're doing by the way they sort of.
And if they have a good support staff around them too. That's,
I mean, he really did put the best group of people around him. A good DP.
That helps. You know what? I am convinced you could know nothing about directing a movie, and if you put the right people around you, you can be a brilliant director. That is absolutely.
Surround yourself with people better than you.
Yes,
you guys know about that.
Well, yeah. That's so. Some gunplay in this one.
Not a lot.
Not a lot of gunplay.
No, nothing really. He just he starts working for a group of people. He starts off, washing dishes. He starts to rehabilitate himself. He's a homeless chap on the streets, and he starts to rehabilitate himself. He gets off the booze, gets off the drugs, and starts to wash dishes in Chinatown. And then all of a sudden starts working for this Chinese boss and starts throwing a bit of muscle around and earning some money, basically to keep his daughter, to put away for his daughter. It's a strange daughter that he doesn't see anymore.
Good-hearted guy.
Yeah,
okay.
Good-hearted guy, and that's the start of a change for the good. But then he finds out that when he's sober, that he's a bit of a nuisance, and he starts to, he has to sort of throw himself to the wayside again because he becomes too dangerous.
How does the movie end?
I can tell you're really fucking interested.
So we're gonna get somebody like that one day. Somebody's gonna slip and
We try that every time. How does it end?
Right, I should have come up with a different movie, shouldn't I?
So it's a musical?
It should have been. It's not a musical, no.
Your films have grossed over $1 billion.
Huh?
Your films have grossed over $1 billion, man.
I didn't see much of that billion, I can tell you.
Damn them.
You were misinformed.
Someone got rich, not me.
Over $1 billion.
Yeah, you know, we haven't paid for this and that yet. You know, we got to recoup this
stamps.
and that. Yeah.
Stamps.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, there's a lot of expenses that go
Yeah.
through.
Any word on Expendables?
Yeah, I'm
What
going to
are
go
you
and
doing
do Expendables Part 3. We're going
Right,
to we're going to go and shoot in Bulgaria. And we start
Bulgaria, huh?
In the middle of August, we start. Yeah, Sly
That's a fun
and everybody.
franchise,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you can't say no to that. It's
Police, yeah.
it's
So is that going to complete the trilogy?
Yes.
Yes.
Are the same guys in it? Or is there anybody new in it that wasn't in the last one?
I don't listen. They're bandying around a lot of names, and I'm not sure who they're going to say yes to and who wants to come to do the job. But you know, there's talk of Wesley Snipes and Jackie Chan and Mila Jovovich, the people that you know.
I'm sure with the reaction the first two got, that people kind of want to get on board that one. It's fun. They're fun movies to watch.
Yeah, they're great. You just turn up and go, give us the gun, and it's
Yeah.
You can eject the mind for a small moment.
Yeah, I know. I love people that watch that and go, "You can't do that." Exactly.
Doesn't make sense.
Oh, look at how he's driving that thing. You can't drive like. Yeah, okay.
Where's the logic?
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Sit back and enjoy it. Dummy.
What was your favorite film you ever made?
That's a great question.
You know, I think the movies I did for Guy Ritchie would, you know, Snatch and Lock, Stock, you know, because they were a long time ago, and they sort of gave me a job. They gave me a career.
Yeah.
You know?
Snatch is
Those
still
are
great.
good.
It's one of those movies you just could watch a million fucking times.
Do you really eat
Love
spinach and
Snatch.
rice?
No.
Oh, once again, someone screwed
Reports
up on
say
the...
he keeps in shape on set by eating a diet of spinach and rice.
Where does that come from?
What turd said that?
I don't know.
Probably ate it once because there was nothing else left or something, and then that becomes the thing.
There's so much stupid crap that gets written about this thing.
What's the stupidest thing you've?
Probably that.
Oh wow! All right, we made Wikipedia. Nice. Love it.
Exactly. That's a dumb thing to have written about you.
I know, but I just ask it like it's a fucking really Barbara Walters moment. Spinach and rice. Somebody cries. I really am an asshole. But yeah, you can't. You just pull the questions off Wikipedia, and you're like, okay, that's what the. We don't do pre-interviews, obviously. We would have got that one out. But again, why would I ask that? Because here's what he could have said: yes, I do.
And now where are you going?
I really
you want to think out how these things progress.
Yeah. I walked us down a fucking alley.
Now what?
Brown or white rice?
Yeah.
It would have to
Which
be
rice
brown.
is that?
I would have used
White
it to
not so
segue
healthy.
into a
Basmati rice it is.
Yeah.
I would have just turned around and said, you know, because I've been eating some spinach, and everyone went, who gives a shit? And then somebody else would have picked up the. All right.
Happy birthday, Jimmy.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that was fucking terrible. So what do you eat on set, Jason?
What do I eat? Whatever the catering has, you know. The film sets are good. They have they've got people that cook you whatever you want. So whatever you fancy.
Do you have to really concentrate on what you're eating? Like make sure you're eating well.
Well, don't eat things every day. You know,
Right.
It's you try and be smart if you want to. You know, if you're trying to train and you know, you're trying to look good. Then there's a certain thing that you got to put in your in your mouth. So it's. Do
you have like a movie physique and like hanging around eating a little shittier physique?
Of course.
Do you get in shape for the movies? Yeah.
You know how to get in shape if you want to get in shape, and then you know how to abuse yourself when you want to abuse yourself. So it's easy. Yes, little simple
I only
rules.
know the abuse yourself.
I'm in transition.
Yeah. Ron's in transition here.
Earmuffs, Rob. Earmuffs. Earmuffs. You don't have to listen to this.
Yeah, because some of the movies you're in obviously are pretty physically exerting. I mean, I know there are stuntmen and stuff, but just the running around you've done, especially a movie like Crank.
Right.
Well, you do your own stunts, though, don't you? I mean,
Yeah, I do.
A lot of them,
I
he
do
does.
that. Yeah. I do anything that's, I won't, I won't do stupid things like, dive out of a burning building.
Yeah,
I mean, there's just no point. And the pyrotechnic crap is just
frightening.
You can't calculate, how far the explosion is going to go, and if it's a stupid way to die.
Right.
It's your next movie, actually. A stupid way to die. That's a good one.
Yes.
Come on.
Almost as good as Hummingbird.
Yes. Originally called Nursing Blueberries.
Rated R. Now in a theater near you.
I'm sure earlier on they probably asked you to do more stunts than they do now. You're probably a little more of a commodity now. I would
No, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
You have to sign a waiver if you want to get out of a car.
Oh, yeah.
Are you sure you can do this?
Yeah,
do you want to put a harness on? Bring the crash mat in. He's getting out of the bus. Yeah, I mean, it's a fucking joke. It is.
Yeah.
They get so protected because, they want to finish the film and they spend a lot of money. And
are there limitations on what they let you do contractually during a filming? Like you can't go skiing. Like a lot of times they put restrictions on guys.
Yeah, you sign a thing. You can't go skiing. You can't race a car. You can't.
Wow.
There's a big long list of things, and you sign at the bottom of the page, and you say, "I'm not going to do any of that stuff." So.
Yeah, no sex with Amanda Bynes, things like that. Very dangerous.
So when I did Crank years ago, and there was a stunt where I have to have a fight outside of the helicopter, and I'm standing on the skis, and we're having this punch up, and I'm actually outside the helicopter, and I've got the hip pick, and that they shot on the last day of filming.
Just in case.
Smart scheduling. Just in case.
We could get away without this scene if need be.
Hey, look, if he falls, we just roll credits.
Holy fuck!
It was literally that way because they couldn't get insurance for that, and they said,
No
"Listen,
way.
Oh, they can't.
you want to do it, you got to do it on the fucking last day."
And how scared were you outside that helicopter? Be honest. That's got to be.
Yeah,
fucking
it was. It was. But the adrenaline is.
Sure.
That helps you get through it, right?
Well, yeah, it's scary, but it feels good when you've done it.
Because Tom
Once
Cruise.
it's over, I bet. Yeah, you're like, fuck, that kicked ass. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise
let's
did
do it again.
his own stunts for Mission Impossible 3 or 4, whatever. And I become obsessed with that Burge Tower.
The Burge Tower, yeah.
But I'm like, how did he get a movie company? I don't care how much waivers you sign. How did Tom Cruise get them to sign off on him jumping at 1,100 feet and running down the side of that
He
building?
probably said, "I'm not going to do your fucking movie unless you let me do this."
What kind of insurance?
Because
do you
he
have to
loves
have
that
for
shit.
It's it's a surprise because his biggest movie star in the world. How do you let him do something that may or may? He must have had about 18 safety wires.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Do you think they had the best crew working with him?
It's the guy that runs the bungee at a fucking Poughkeepsie carnival. It's great.
Missing a couple of bolts, but shouldn't be a problem.
Don't worry about it.
Would you have done
Got
that?
some duct tape.
Would you have done that?
I'd have done that. Yeah. They're safe. Anything that you see us do, it's pretty fucking safe. You just need the nuts to go. Okay, I'm not scared of heights.
Are you?
No, I'm not scared of heights.
Oh, yeah, okay.
No, if you've got a fear for heights, then you don't want to be doing that. But
No.
it's pretty safe. It's not like you're trying to jump from a moving vehicle to another, and if you miss, you're going to smash yourself to pieces.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just on a wire, so you're just running around. And it's just like being on a fairground ride.
Yeah.
It's pretty safe. It's not like you've got to exact some skill to try and you
kind
have
of
some
just
kind of
time
judgment.
it just
along
right.
for the ride.
You're just along for the ride.
Yeah.
But that's just fucking. My hands sweat when I think of that. Like when he's running down the side of the building. But like the fact that I know it's safe, but it's like what if you just hear the feeling you'd have of floundering all the way down, going, this could have been avoided.
But Jason's ruining movies for us. I want to know that there's a chance that something could go
Some
wrong.
problem.
With this shit.
Of course there's a chance. Everybody's got a bad day at work, and it could be the guy whose job it is to tie the fucking knot.
But I don't want to hear he's just along for the ride. I like to think there's some weird timing that he's got to figure out.
Here's how you know it could be a problem. They shot that the last day of filming.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the indicator that
That's funny.
certain things can happen. People are killed. Stuntmen are killed. I mean, it's not a fucking.
They have been.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think the most dangerous thing is when there's a guy on the trigger that has to go boom and press the explosion.
Time it right.
And if he gets it wrong, excuse me.
Yeah, make sure nobody's in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, they're the ones that hold a lot of responsibility.
The pyro guys, you're in a lot of movies where they have the weapon masters, the guys that have to handle the guns and make sure that they're not live.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
for the most part, they're real guns that are just have blank ammunition in there.
That's correct.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could definitely still get hurt.
Is that how Brandon Lee died?
Brandon Lee died.
It is, right?
Yeah.
He got...
and John Eric Hexum.
Who's that?
That's right. I think something got wedged
Back in the
in
day.
the barrel. I think there was something got wedged into the barrel.
Oh, it wasn't an actual bullet. It was something else.
Yeah, something else.
wadding or something, right?
Yeah, and it got stuck in there, and I mean, I might be wrong.
But it's usually they're fucking around and doing things they're not supposed to be doing with them at the time. It's rarely a, someone put something in there and they went through the scene and it happened. Like John Eric Hexum, he put the gun to his head.
Who is he?
And pulled the trigger. He was on a series, I can't remember the name of the series. Remember his dumb name, but not the name of the series. And he put it next to his head, and the concussion from the blank actually dislodged a piece of his skull, and it went right into his brain like a bullet.
Oh yeah, you can kill yourself with a blank.
Absolutely.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Very dangerous still.
Embarrassing.
They have
Yeah.
limits. We're shooting blanks all the time, but you've got to be. There's the distance. The safe distance is a big thing. They're always eyes too close. You don't put it at his edge. So if I'm pointing the gun at you, it's got to be like that.
Yeah,
Like,
they'll
look at
usually
you, but it's
film it in
over
a
there.
way where
Like
it looks like,
Why do they have why not just use it like where the fucking inside of the gun is filled with something like lead? It's a solid piece, not a real gun.
You got to get the muzzle flash. You got to get
Right.
the,
Okay.
Exactly
just
right.
looks
The
better.
action of the weapon, too.
Yeah.
realistic,
The
right?
action has to go.
They have a plugged gun. They do have a plugged barrel. So if you want to do short, and then they do they put the flash in post, but it's more expensive.
CGI,
But did I just sound like a guy? I know nothing about guns or the movie business. Why not use a fake one, mister? Naive shit.
I made a couple of videos at the house where I used CGI and stuff, and it looks the effects you could do now with After Effects and stuff. It looks really amazing, but there's just something about that.
The recoil,
muzzle flash, the recoil.
If it doesn't have the recoil, it has to have
a little bit of smoke.
It has to have a little bit of recoil. It has to have the kickback.
Yeah.
and,
What is that
and the
feeling?
slide has to slide, and
Right.
and it ejects
You need the slide. Yeah.
The brass
comes
needs to
out.
come out, and
What does that feel like when you're shooting at somebody, even though you know it's a blank? It's like you're still shooting at somebody.
yeah, but it's a blank.
But I would love to do that.
You would love to do that.
I really would, yeah. But not tell them it's a blank, and then, like make a prank show where I'm walking down the street just fake shooting at people, and they're like,
that'd be great.
And I'm like,
and then you could have the.
There's a lot of people that like to do that too.
I can't wait for the part of the show where the cops don't fake shoot you because that's what would happen.
Well, it's called season finale.
Yeah. Are you proficient with weapons? Do you shoot much real guns?
Yeah, they make sure that you get good at that stuff. You know, they take you to the gun range, and they show you how to go on. And
You should learn how to shoot a real one before you do that, just so you have the respect of the for the gun.
You have to really understand about the safety. The safety.
Yeah.
The onset safety is a big thing. You know,
And then the
you can't be
mechanics of
running
it.
around it. As soon as you've done the shot, you have to give it to the gun handler. And
Yeah.
you can't run around having a cup of tea with the old gun. Yeah.
So as a British subject, what do you think of the assault band's weapon?
The what?
Assault band's weapon. Assault band's weapon.
Assault band's weapon.
Damn it,
Oh, Rob.
And I'm the one on Vicodin.
Where's the screw? Where's the screech?
That's all right. Assault band's weapon. It's good.
Assault band's weapon. Damn it.
This is what Eager Boy wants to ask. When you're doing a film like that, you guys are all major A-list guys. I mean, there's Schwarzenegger, Stallone. Is there a difference in the size of the trailer, or is it like everyone gets the same? Because I hear Will Smith has a fucking tractor trailer that opens up and
It's basically
has
a house. They wouldn't let him.
house.
They wouldn't let him park.
With a roof deck, yeah.
Yeah, like a two-level thing.
But they won't let him park it on a lot of the streets in New York.
Right.
They made him move it. It was so ridiculously big and over the top. Yeah.
And Arnold's on that level, and so is Stallone, and I'm sure you're on that level. But when you're doing one, do you guys all get that, or do they just fucking kind of size it down? Like, look,
It depends, it depends who you are. I mean, there is a standard thing that most people get, and if someone wants to, be flash, then they want to, they've got their own thing going. Then, the big movie stars get that. But
who's got the best one you've ever been in?
I haven't been in any of those big ones.
Really?
It's funny when you go and make a movie back in England. You go, is that the Portaloo? They go, no, it's your fucking trailer.
Oh, there's a little honey wagon.
Yeah, it's nothing like Hollywood back over there.
No.
I did a movie called Furry Vengeance. Obviously, you've seen it. Yes, it's about talking animals. You know, it's a great moment. And me and Patrice were in these honey wagons, and it was so small. There's no bathroom, so I just pissed in the sink all day.
Oh, God.
Yes,
I'm just got to take a lot of leaks.
What? Yeah, so what? I'm a new series I'm starting called Hollywood Glory. That's the opening story.
But you'd piss in the sink if you had a bathroom anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
it was actually in the common area, just showing everybody who was boss.
But you do hear stories about people measuring the trailer, and you know,
right? They
I
have
think that one's 6 inches longer than that. You know, some stupid story like that you've heard.
That's got to cause resentment. Without any names, because I know you don't want to do that. But was there anybody with a little more ego on those sets, the set of Expendables, than other people?
Not any Expendables, no. I think everyone sort of keeps an even keel. You know, Sly's the sort of the head honcho, and everybody respects him. So I think everyone sort of behaves themselves.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't sound that way. But,
but I guess because guys who are that, like, Schwarzenegger doesn't need to prove who he is. Stallone doesn't need to prove who he is. I mean,
that's true.
Yeah, there's almost like a mutual respect because they're all the biggest stars in the world. So everyone sort of keeps their heads on, you know, because someone started to get out of line, they just stand out, you know.
Yeah, you've had to have been on some sets, though, where you're like, oh, that guy's a fucking asshole.
Quite a few, yeah.
Have you ever thought that people might think you were that guy?
Of course. More often than not.
You never want to think that. God damn.
Not Jason.
You look at Charlie Sheen now, and I don't know if he had that girl fired or whatever. There's something going on in anger management. And I'm just like, I don't know what happened. Because I like Charlie Sheen. I've never met him, but I like his work, and I want to believe he's a good dude, but he's just...
I'm starting to think he's the problem.
He might be, man.
I'm starting to think.
He might be.
He might have some issues there.
But I'm like, what a lousy work environment to have that conflict.
That's his co-star.
Yeah.
She's now out of the series.
Is she out, or is she going to be out?
I
think they fired her, yeah. He wanted her out or something.
Yeah, they had problems.
That's some pull,
and that
though.
was it.
That's having some pull if you could do that. It's a scumbaggy move, but, you know.
Well, it depends on what she did, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She got the yogurt wrong.
Wouldn't fuck him.
Well, goodbye.
Perhaps that's,
goodbye.
Perhaps that's what's going on.
Jason's movie, by the way, is called Redemption. It's in theaters June 28th, which is today is it's a week from today.
Cool.
It'll be. Do you panic about opening weekends and stuff like that? Like, do you really? Do you watch that? Like, do you really care about what's happening, or do you just kind of?
Sure cares.
Well, I mean, you care, but I mean, how much do you follow it?
You get told what it is. I mean, obviously, you've got to have an idea of whether the movie's any good or not, and whether people want to see that kind of film. And of course, it makes a big difference because if they consistently don't make any money, that's your career's over. So that's the end of that. So it's it's an important fact.
Do you do independent movies at all, or do you not want to do them? Like something weird, low budget, just because you like the script?
Yeah, I've done a couple of those. I mean, even Lock, Stock that was independent. That was a small thing. I think that was made for like 900 grand.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we shot it in 5 weeks.
Just a cult favorite now. Yeah,
so
it's one of
great
those
films get made for no money at all. And you know what, people want to be involved with quality work. So it's not always the big budget things that people want to be a part of. You know, a lot of the actors really want to attach themselves to great material. So and a lot of the good material don't always come through the way of a studio.
It's good to have that balance of, I artistically, I have my integrity, and holy shit, I got to pay the mortgage.
Yeah.
Exactly. Those type of things. I think, who put it best? Goddamn, Michael Madsen.
Yeah, Madsen was
Madsen put out a list. He actually had a list of movies, and he
explained why he did
a reason why he did it. It's like child support, renters due, and then he's like, "Oh, I really liked doing this one," But most of them were just like, "Oh yeah, that one, the water heater blew up." It's fucking great. He's very honest.
We miss him.
Guy.
I think Michael Caine he said that one was the house in Tuscany. That one was Yeah.
It's amazing how many British actors. Somebody pointed out to me how many British actors were playing like American superhero. Like you look at fucking like The Dark Knight. They were all British. British actors are killing us. I mean, it was in Batman, the Joker, obviously Michael Caine, and somebody else on that was
Spider-Man's a Brit.
Really?
Superman's a Brit. Yeah. Fucking those Brits get everywhere.
I know, right? Yeah, that is true.
It's because British actors are trained. They actually are trained to act. America is 90% of the time it's just you.
That's right. The lead of The Walking Dead is British. Andrew Lincoln and fucking the guys from The Wire. British actors.
A lot of guys in The Wire.
Are there any American actors going over there and then British people going, we didn't know he was American? That's the way it is here.
No, because there's not a lot of great stuff. We don't make any. All we have is James Bond, and that's it.
That's pretty much it.
The others are period dramas with everyone's wearing tights and and wigs. So the appeal's not quite the same. Be a superhero or put these tights on for 10 weeks.
Have you ever played? Have you ever done like stage acting?
No, I've never done any sort of acting.
Last time you were in, we went through the whole thing of how you got into movies, and it was kind of a very, by chance thing.
Yeah, I was just, asked to do a film that didn't require any acting.
Right.
It was just sort of play yourself in a movie.
You're a working guy and then working on the streets.
Yeah,
and stuff,
working on the streets.
Yeah, it's a great story.
Do that, but say these words. It's, it was. That's how I got into it. And then Guy Ritchie said, look, don't bother trying to don't go to any acting classes. It's...
no heavy lifting.
That's exactly the opposite advice they give me. Wow.
You would have been a great James Bond.
Yeah. The bold Bond.
I think so.
The way Fleming wrote the character was a guy who was really, brutal. He wasn't like Roger Moore, wasn't...
Right.
Some milquetoasty guy. He was a real...
Yeah, more like the Casino Royale kind of...
I like Daniel Craig. I think I don't really pay much attention to Bond, but I like him. I think
Daniel
he's
Craig
really good.
Yeah, I think he does.
Craig's the best since Connery, for sure.
Does a good Bond.
Yeah, since Connery is the best since Connery.
Yeah, they took the tongue-in-cheek out of it, because it got, especially with Roger Moore, it wound up just getting ridiculous at that point. It got so far away from, everything was a joke. You never felt like the character was ever really in any danger.
I think he got the point.
Terrible, right?
Oh, God, it's make your skin crawl. Just shoot the fuck and be done with it. God almighty.
Wow. Yeah, it seems like they became... Did you see that documentary on Bond? There was about the lawsuits that had been involved in the fight over that name. Man, that is an ugly, ugly underbelly.
A lot of money. A lot of money involved.
That was that? Most popular franchise in history, right?
Yeah, the James Bond, all the problems with Sean Connery, and then the people who took over, I think, the two creators, or whatever, not Fleming, but the guy who made the producer.
Albert Broccoli.
Yes. And
Broccoli.
Brown rice and broccoli.
Yeah.
I can't believe that fucking home run question I had. I should have saved that for the end.
Got to wrap with that one.
Not to hit you with a curveball here, but chamomile tea, comment? If you would have spit on me, nobody would have questioned it.
You could still do it if you want.
But there was a whole a bunch of lawsuits. And what was the movie that got made twice? There was one Bond that got made.
Thunderball.
Oh, right, okay.
Well, it was Never Say Never Again because it was originally written as a screenplay. Fleming wrote Thunderball as a screenplay. So
you know your Bond shit.
I'm big on the Bond.
Nice.
Have you seen them all?
I've seen them all. Some of them twice.
Which is your favorite?
Goldfinger.
Goldfinger, Dr. No.
Good one.
Yeah.
All the Connerys really are great.
Do you hate the Roger Moores, or you don't?
I hate them.
Okay.
I hate them with a passion.
Do you really?
I really do.
We had him in here.
Did you?
Did you guys get him over there on Iris?
No.
Bob wouldn't have it.
No. I put my foot down.
He was cool.
Connery or nothing.
Yeah.
He won't be a part of it. He just won't. Didn't they do something at the Oscars recently with those guys? And he just will not.
Well, he kind of went on to have a pretty good career after the Bond.
He did all right,
thing.
right?
I don't think he really got typecast. He did good. Roger Moore, on the other hand, after Bond, what do you do? The Cannonball Run?
He'll be a Walmart greeter before too long.
What's the best story? George
Lazenby.
Oh,
what's that story about?
George Lazenby was the guy who replaced Connery.
Right.
For On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which is one of the better books. It's the one where James Bond gets married. And Lazenby was this nobody who they picked to take Connery's place when Connery first left. Only made one.
Wow.
One and done.
And he was
Didn't it do
Australian?
well? He was good
It did
at
well,
it.
and he actually wasn't bad.
Yeah.
He actually wasn't bad.
Huh.
But then they went to, and then it was a couple of years before they actually made.
But
another
he
one.
fucked it up. He took like really weird advice.
Yep.
People say like some guy told him, like this guru told him like you
Play it like a mime.
Yeah, I did.
Bond is stuck in a glass box.
Yes.
Like, well, that's horrid advice. That's right.
Yeah, sing your lines. People will love that. Really? Come on.
Make a bold choice. Make him Chinese.
So what did he do wrong?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Yeah, I'm sure listeners are out there want to kill me. But he blew it by changing something that was working for him, and he just screwed it up.
And they moved on from him.
And they were like, "You're just fuck
done.
you." Yeah, and they moved on.
Huh.
And,
bastard.
You know, if you get a franchise like that,
The
play it
fucking
smart.
Pete Best of James Bond movies. Wow. You just don't want to be the Pete Best of anything.
Wow.
No, unless it's the Beatles.
Or the identical triplets.
We got to wrap up with Jason, I guess. That sucks.
Yeah, Jason,
You're-
always.
thank you
always
for
a
we like
pleasure,
you do
man.
radio. You're one of the few
I
big
know,
guests
right?
that like likes to do radio and is good at it. Because a lot of them want
Really
to do a
good at
7-minute fucking quick TV interview and that's it.
We've always had fun when you come in, too.
No,
man.
it's a
You're
great
really-
laugh.
You're good to
I
hang
love
out
coming
with.
on.
Yeah, it's great.
I'll see you next time around.
Yeah, absolutely. Best of luck with the movie, Jim.
It's out
give him the big plug.
June 28th. It's called Redemption, and you know, of course, Jason Statham is great. And if you happen to be now, the Hummingbird is the UK title. Is it still being called that there or no?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
But here it's Redemption, yeah.
Okay, so don't be confused. Like if you're with a friend from across the pond and he says, "Let's say Hummingbird," say, "I'd love to," and you'll be saying Redemption.
Two very different names for the same movie.
Really, but that's great. I mean,
Yeah.
but I guess I kind of respect the fact that Britain would call it that. Like that's it. You know, I like that name.
I just think England has a little more artistic integrity. They could stick with Hummingbird. America's like, fuck that name. That sounds like a faggot movie. We're going to get a Redemption.
No explosions in that one.
Yeah, exactly.
But then again,
exactly.
isn't it like calling it, if Hummingbird's a common name for those things over there, maybe it's not a common name for them here. So maybe that's like calling it Predator drone here.
Right.
Why would I ruin the interview by speculating? It was nice. We had a nice out, and I just decided to go into the writer's room and take a guess. Douche.
It's always great when you meet somebody who, you know, an actor whose work you admire or whatever, because you always make up your mind in your head what kind of a person they are off screen, and 9 times out of 10 you're always disappointed because they tend to be a fucking asshole. So it's great to actually, you're exactly who we hoped you would be.
Jason,
Wow, Rob.
Thank you.
Hug it out. Hug it out. Hug it out.
they're hugging it out.
Oh, I love it.
Look at he's crying.
Thanks, man.
I'm absolutely crying.
See you later, Jeff.
Should we take a break?
Yeah, we will. Jason Statham, always a pleasure. Thank you. Redemption, a week from today. We'll be back with Rob Bartlett.
The Opie and Anthony Show.
Yes, I remember I had lasagna.
On Sirius